Welcome to the Bartender's Anonymous podcast. It's been a hot minute, and by that I mean months and months. So, fuck me, right? I'm gonna go back and listen to this because I gotta remember how to do this at all. Meh. Sounds fine. Turned it up just a little bit, but here's the Bartender's Anonymous podcast. Been multiple shit shows in the past couple of months, and don't get me wrong, I have actually done probably 3 or 4 podcasts, but I've been trying to do them with other humans, and as much as I love them to death, and the podcasts are very fun, they're not something I would put on the internet. So they're basically just for fun for me to listen to, and you can just imagine all the bullshit we say and that we're probably drunk. And so a lot of it's kind of incoherent and probably is pretty funny, but it doesn't really correlate with the professionalism that I have been trying to put into these recordings when I'm actually doing this. So someday I think we'll get it right and drink the right amount of alcohol, and I'll know how to use all my equipment at the right time. But in general, it's been, hey, we've drank a case of beer already and had shots of tequila. Would you guys like to do a podcast? And then I'm just drunk looking for equipment. And and that's probably happened like 3 or 4 times. And sometimes they go pretty good and they're pretty funny, but they're just such a fucking shit show. And then I barely even remember how to like mix everything down and whatever, because it's been so long since I've actually published one. So this is kind of a reboot, if you will, where I finally got all my shit out in the garage where I can just fucking think for a minute. And yeah, like that was the problem. I can never fucking think. But yeah, no, I've quit a job, I got a job, I quit that job, and now I've got no job. But regardless, I'm still the anonymous bartender at heart. So, and I don't know if I'm going to get another bartender job. I might just go get some bullshit just so I can start making some money. Because, yeah, my Dogecoin's not doing amazing. I was hoping it would just go up and I could cash it out and then have another fucking year of dicking off. But it's been just fucking me. So that's not working right now. So I'm going to have to go get a job. It's about time to go get a job. My car's fucking falling apart. So the job I did get that I thought was the perfect sports bar. And at first glance, it did look like that. It looked clean and organized, and there's TVs everywhere, and they're like Seahawks fans and Blazer fans, and Beaver fans, and all that shit. And I was like, oh, I found my home. And literally after working there for like 2 days, I was like, oh no, I've made a grave error. And fuck. And it was like 40 minutes away, so the drive kind of sucked, and my radio in my car doesn't even work. And then I'd get to work and not make any money. I didn't even get to bartend for like 3 weeks. So I was just like waiting some tables, which is fine, but I didn't even get to train like behind the bar for like at least 2 weeks. And then I didn't get my first solo bartender shift till like the 3rd week. And behind the bar was just a mess. It was like not organized like I thought it was. And then they're doing like DoorDash all day. So even when I was there fucking waiting tables, 60% of my job was like bagging DoorDash orders that you like as a server, you don't even make money off of that. So I was like, okay, this is some horse shit even as a server, where I'd make like $20, $30 maybe. I think maybe the most I made as a server was like $50, and that's because one guy tipped me like $30. So I was like, okay, this is fucking whack. And then I finally get the bartending shifts, and they're closing shifts, which is fine, but they were open till 2:30, like dive bar style, and I thought they were more like Buffalo Wild Wings, like close at 11 maybe, or midnight. And then it's a 40-minute drive, so when I did get the closing shifts, it's like, all right, it's fucking 2:30. You got to clean all this shit. You got to mop the floor. which I know I'm a pussy, but I wasn't used to that. So I gotta like mop the floor and then do all this shit. And then you gotta like turn the alarm on and run out and lock the thing. So by the time you get out of there, it's almost 3 in the morning. And then I've got a 40-minute drive home in silence because I don't have a fucking radio. And yeah, so I was doing that. And I was working, I was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think. So doing that 3 nights in a row, and I'm just staring at the ceiling at like 5 in the morning, and I'm like, oh no, what the fuck did I get myself into? And then basically the same thing as the other job where I was like kind of unhappy and then only working 3 days, and so then it's like, all right, I worked my 3 days. Fucking time to get a bottle and a case of beer and then just fucking drink all week. And so I was doing that, and then at one point, because it was my birthday, and then it was 4th of July, so I got hammered all week, and then I'm supposed to drive all the way to this shitty bar, and I'm all hungover, and I start driving, and I'm all shaky, and I've got anxiety, and I was like, there's no fucking way. I'm not fucking driving there to, like, do this shit job all hungover, and, and that was another thing, is they gave me, like, a random 11 to 7 as a server. And so I called the dude, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, but like, true, like I just was totally honest with him. I'm like, it was my birthday and it was 4th of July. I drank like multiple days in a row. I'm hungover as shit, and I don't feel comfortable driving out there, and whatever. So I'm like, I'm not coming in. And he's just like, oh well, like thanks for being honest with me, but get your shit together and like don't let it happen again. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Your bar sucks anyways. But so I go kind of try and get my stuff together. Then I worked that weekend, and then I think I worked like one more week. And I was going to try and tough it out and like try and make it to football season, but they started dicking me on my check. And so I was like, oh yeah, like we were supposed to get paid, right? And they're like, oh yeah, they're in the office. Office is locked. No manager. Okay, you can't get it. Okay, whatever. Kind of pissy about that. And then I come in the next day, talk to the supervisor. I'm like, hey, can I like get my check? Because like we got paid on Friday, right? And they're like, oh yeah, let's go look. No check. And then they're like, oh well, we'll talk to the big boss about it. Blah blah blah. So then they're like 3 days later, after they're like, oh we'll have it tomorrow. Oh we'll have it tomorrow. The manager guy, he's like, wait, did you fill out like a W-2 or anything? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, like I thought that the other manager did it. And I was like, no, I don't know. I just like started working. You guys told me to start working. I've been clocking in and shit. And he's like, oh, well, we need to fill out that paperwork and like whatever. It's like, okay. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a fucking new guy, bartender. Like that's not my responsibility, even though it kind of should be because I should know to fill out a W-2, but whatever. Fuck them. And so I finally fill out all the paperwork, and where's I going with this? And then so another week goes by. So they owe me like 2 paychecks. And they're like, so I come in and I'm like, hey, like please tell me there's a check in there for me because I'm not making any fucking money bartending really. Make like $80 here and, whatever. Not good money. And then they just keep telling me, oh, tomorrow. And I'm kind of like, I'm getting more and more mad. And then finally, they like cut me a check. It's like $500 even. And it's like, if you've ever worked anywhere for any amount of time, you never get a check that's like an even number like that. Like that never happens. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of sketchy in anyways. And also it was a handwritten check. So I'm like, okay, as much as I thought that this place was like organized and professional and all that, it's just a fucking wreck. And there's like no money to make here, and they're idiots. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Thanks for the $500, I guess. And then the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm like wasting my time at this place. And so I do the same thing. I drink for a couple days before I have to go into work, and I'm driving in there like hungover again. And I'm like, fuck this. Like, because 40 minutes is a lot of time to think, especially when you don't have a radio. And so the whole time I'm just like, I just like talked myself into quitting. And so I like walked in and I felt bad because it was actually busy this day because they're doing like trivia or whatever. And I walk in and they're like, you're late. Where have you been? Da da da. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm quitting. And the one manager, she was newer, and she's like, what? No, you're not. And I was like, no, seriously. Like, here's my keys. And she's like, oh, well, go tell so and so. And so she comes up and she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm quitting. Like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I'm just not happy here. And she's like, oh, like, what's the issue? And I'm like, the hours suck. They've been dicking me around on my check. Like, the drive sucks. Just all these things, whatever. And she's like, well, like, you knew what the hours were. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Here's my keys. Like, she's like, so you're done. And I'm like, yep. She's like, you gonna work today? And I was like, no, I'm fucking done. I'm leaving. And so I give her my keys and I get the fuck out of there. And I was like, relief. But it was just, I don't know. It was a fucking shit show. I thought I found a cool sports bar, but it was not what I thought it was. It's probably cool for like college kids to work at and all that, but not to commute to go make dog shit money. Like, I'll commute or I'll drive like 10 minutes to make dog shit money, but I'm not going to drive my piece of shit car 40 minutes to hate my life. That was another thing is like a week into working there, I broke the door handle on the inside of my car, like, because it was already kind of janky. And then I'm like, pardon me. I'm like getting ready to go to work. And I kind of pull it like I normally do because you got to kind of pull it just right. And it just pops. And I'm like, oh no, are you fucking kidding me? So I have to like roll my window down and open it from the outside. And just like little shit like that. And it was driving me nuts. And so I had to get the fuck out of there. And so kind of back to square one. And I tried doing, I got like Instacart and a Grubhub thing. Still haven't even done the Grubhub because my car's a piece of shit. But I did do the Instacart thing, and that was kind of fun. Just like grocery shopping for people. Made like $17 on one order. I made like $8 on another order. And that's all I've done. Because, I don't know, I just kind of got it for funsies. But, yeah. So now, whatever, bills are paid for another month. But I need to go find another job, like, pretty quick. Because I'm hemorrhaging money. Like, I do have my savings if I need it, but with my stocks being down, it's like I don't want to fucking touch anything. So, back to work, motherfucker. So I'll figure that out. I did bartend a wedding on Friday. That was like the only gig I've had in the past however many weeks. It's probably been like a month or so since I quit. And it was actually two ladies. It's a couple of lesbians, and they're super cool. They were regulars at my old job, and they'd asked me to bartend, and I said yes. And then I quit, and they're like, "Are you still gonna bartend our wedding?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll be there. I'll clear my schedule." Just like nothing on my schedule. I'm like between playing Grand Theft Auto and taking a walk in the park, and yeah, whatever. So I did that. It was actually pretty fun. But same with my stupid fucking door. Like 2 days before the wedding, I was trying to fix my door. And so I'm like taking shit apart. I'm trying to use a cable from the back door. Didn't fit, whatever. I was like I was going to order the part or go find the correct part. And I've got the door all taken apart and I've been fucking with it. And I was like, all right, whatever. I'll deal with it later. Shut the door. Okay, whatever. I go find out the part I need so I can go find it. I go out to kind of mess with it some more. Now the outside door handle doesn't work, so I have a fucking... I made it worse. I make it worse every time I touch it. So So now I've got my rear door that doesn't open from the inside and my driver door that doesn't open at all. And so it's just stuck shut. And this was like 2 days before the wedding, so I was like, fuck. I'm not driving my truck all the way out there because it gets like 8 miles per gallon, so that's like losing money if I drive an hour. Or cutting into my profits at least. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm driving my car, and I just like parked really far away from everyone and just like crawled out my passenger side. Because that's my life, and nothing is simple. Because I make it harder than it needs to be by just being stubborn. And yeah, I'm like, I'll do it myself. And then myself fucks it up and makes it worse. So I just dig the hole deeper. And so that's basically where we're at. And so I've dug myself the hole. My car's a piece of shit. My truck's a piece of shit, but it's in better shape than the car. So that's what I will be driving around town until I get my shit all fixed. But I don't know. I got some figuring out to do. But I had to remember to switch this from bars to minutes again, because I always forget about that. 15 minutes, not bad. Just a little update on my employment issues. Well, basically just my issues. The employment's there. I've just been unsatisfied with everything. So, regardless, we're still alive. We're here. The podcast is still here. It's just in the back of my head. And, yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'm still alive. Life is just a fucking shit show. And I make it more difficult than it needs to be. So, I'm trying to pick up the pieces. Maybe we'll start with just releasing a podcast just for my own peace of mind. And then football starts today, so I fucking got like no sleep last night. And I'm up drinking coffee and just waiting for football to start. So that's what I'm going to do with my fucking day. Yeah, so fuck it. Fuck all your problems. Just watch football and forget about it. And drink Bud Light or whatever the fuck. So it's going to be all right. I'm not too worried about it. Just Jesus take the wheel. And by that I mean go fill out an application and get a fucking job. Because that's what Jesus would want me to do, I think. But anyways, I've been out of touch with a lot of people because I'm just like, I don't know, my shit's a mess right now. So I'm working on getting it back together. And I love you guys. I'm just in a rut. So as I dig my way out of the rut, enjoy your Sunday. Don't get yourselves into ruts. Stay positive. Do your thing. And, yeah. I'm just going to make this short and sweet. I'm alive. And, we're gonna do better. I'm not going to do any music or anything because I don't have the fucking energy to remember how to do that stuff. So, no worries. I love you guys. Have a good Sunday. Have a good week. And hopefully I do this again next Sunday. Peace.